Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know without a shadow of a doubt that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I am telling you, if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. I'm excited because I've got in the TTP studios here in Phoenix, Arizona, two extremely successful real estate wholesalers, flippers, investors out of Seattle, Washington. But before I introduce them, one second, this podcast is a story. This podcast is a story of two lives. There's two lives that happen once you really dedicate yourself to real estate investing. That's the life you had before you discovered it and the life that you have after you discover wholesaling real estate. So I am so excited to introduce all the way from the beautiful state of Washington, Mr. Brennan Barth, Mr. Jeremy McConnell. How are you guys?
Good.
Great.
Blessed to be here.
Thanks for having us, Brent. This is
Awesome.
an honor and a pleasure to be on the show.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys here. So, obviously, I introduced this. I built this up. This is something that's exciting, and I think this is something that's really important. And you, Brendan, were the one that said, I don't know what we're going to do with this podcast, but I'd like to talk about how we did this part-time for so long to build this up to do over, you guys have done hundreds of deals?
Yes.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
A lot of deals.
Deals.
This isn't amateur stuff. This is real
Absolutely.
life, millions of dollars worth of real estate investing income to you guys, but it started part-time,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, part-time for me was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was stuck in the rat race.
Yeah.
Getting up every morning, going to work, doing the same thing, working for the same people day after day.
What was the job?
I was a parks maintenance technician, so I worked for the local parks department. Great job. I was there for over 10 years. I could have continued doing that forever if I wanted to.
Yeah.
However, I just was ending up in the same place month after month with the same income, not able to do what I wanted to do for myself and my family.
Sure.
So woke up one morning, I've told Jeremy the story many times, Googled wholesaling, or Googled something along the lines of how to invest when you're broke.
How to invest in real estate?
How to do anything when you're broke. I was broke.
Yeah.
Even though I had this great job and I had everything I needed month after month,
Sure.
ending back up at zero.
Yeah.
And I was over it.
Right.
Like you said, the life I had before and the life I have now.
Yeah.
So I started with a Google search and literally found, I think it was at Dan Merrill, Wholesaling Bible.
Sure.
Read it in one day.
Yeah.
Was off and running.
Yeah.
I think I told Jay I had a deal a week later.
Get out of here.
Get out of town, right?
Oh my gosh.
So my journey in wholesaling started quick.
Yeah.
Happened fast. I had 2 deals in my first month.
So this is, you started in 2013?
13. Yep. Nights and weekends.
And this is just you. So
Just
you
me.
get up, you go to work. It's like literally a 9 to 5 because this is like a
Absolutely.
government job, right?
Correct.
You got the benefits. You probably got some sort of pension if you stay long
All of
enough.
that.
The
I call
whole
it
thing.
the golden handcuffs.
Sure.
Right? Yep.
Sure. So you're living life, but it's you have that. It's the interesting thing. Everybody that sits in these chairs has the same thing, or anybody that I interview, or anybody that's in the TTP family has the same thing. We have that like pilot light inside of us, that fire inside of our belly. That's like, life's good, but it's not. There's more.
There's more to
There's
it.
gotta be more.
Not quite what I wanted, right?
But it's not, and I don't think it's just, and I think this is important. It starts with the finances, right? It starts with, because that's always the measuring stick. How successful are you professionally, right? That's the first thing that kind of comes, but it's not really that. It's the idea that you get to have the flexibility of schedule. It's the idea that you're going to be the example to your family forever of not having to live the same in-the-box life as
Absolutely.
everybody else.
Yeah, ultimately, no matter what, every day I was giving my time for a paycheck.
Of course.
And that was not going to change.
Right.
And like I said, I was never ahead.
Right.
At the end of every month,
Yeah.
just a couple $100.
Right.
Can't take family on vacation. If anything goes wrong in life, I could never handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was literally broke and wanted to change.
Yeah.
Really, I think the listener should hear this. I started with no money.
Yeah.
I had no credit, no money. I was dating a guy who's now my wife.
Mm-hmm.
She let me borrow like $400 or $500 to start this thing off.
Sure.
We bought letters, pens, postcards, stamps.
Yeah.
We bought a small list of less than 500 people.
Sure.
I think it was absentee owners.
Mm-hmm.
We went after it. And like I said, I had a deal off Craigslist and a deal off my first set of mailers that we hand wrote together every night.
Yep.
We'd do like 20 of them a night, send them out every day.
Yeah.
And got 2 deals in the first month.
What was that like when you were getting your first phone calls from sellers?
I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh my gosh. I remember, it's so funny because I started out door knocking, right?
Yes.
And I'd go through the whole neighborhood. Now I have a real estate license. I would either list a property or I'd look to buy it or put it under contract for what I thought was for my investors. So I didn't even know what wholesaling was. But I remember one of the techniques we would do is the ugliest houses. Myself and my partner at the time, Dustin, we would write down the addresses. We kept a little clipboard. We'd walk around with a little clipboard and we'd write down the address and we would write them a handwritten note.
Yep.
A handwritten note that was very simple. Hi, my name's Brent Daniels, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to see if you would consider a cash offer in your property. Call me and just put a number. And we did deals like that. I mean, this is the same time.
Blew my mind. I mean, people called, people got back to us. It was awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, so I have like a 2-part. So my mom actually, before I got to college when I was 17, gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And at that point, I was psychologically unemployable. I just knew this was it. It bit. Mm-hmm. So I flipped my first house when I was 18, got crushed in 2008.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm never doing real estate again. I checked it every day. I was looking at like Redfin, Zillow, and just watched the market and realized I need to get back in. Bought a rental in 2014 and then learned about wholesaling in 2016. Mm-hmm. And then it was right from there. I mean, my first deal was my neighbor. I was kind of aware of off-market investing and stuff like that, and I had a mentor that was working with me at that time.
Okay.
But I knew that this was a distressed property. Went over there. I knew she owed nothing, and she was just about to lose the house. Mm-hmm. So we ended up wholesaling.
How was she going to lose the house?
She did a hard money loan or some type of draw against. She had no mortgage.
Yeah.
And she couldn't afford the payment. There's like a balloon coming up.
She just needed the income, the money?
Yeah, she needed the money to support her life, and then she needed to get out. So we were able to.
How did you find out about this?
Actually, my neighbor told me that she had paid off the mortgage and was going through some stuff. Yeah. And I just walked across the street and knocked on the door.
It's amazing what happens when you just talk to your neighbors, huh?
Yes. Talk to people.
Well, and that's the interesting thing that I found even when I was out door knocking was a lot of the times the people wouldn't answer or it might be vacant. Mm-hmm. And somebody on that street knew what was happening. Right. So I knocked 2 houses next to it and the 4 across the street. And one of those 8 neighbors answered the door and gave me the scoop. And I would just say, hey, listen, I'm interested in buying that house right there. Do you know, is there a way that I can get in touch with the owner? And it was like...
They know everything happening on the street, right?
I mean, they would just go crazy. Sometimes they would give us the phone number. Sometimes they would tell us when the best time was to come by to talk to them. Sometimes they would give their card to the neighbor. The neighbor would call us. It was interesting. But just getting into that face-to-face, I think, is really powerful, especially in some of the markets that you guys work in where, we're talking Seattle. We're talking big-time property. I mean, we're going to do a deal breakdown, everybody, guys, that these guys made over $70,000 on $1 million property, and it's really, really interesting because we don't have a lot of people talking about $1 million properties, but Seattle's a fist fight, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are in a fist fight.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a second. So how did you guys connect?
So we connected. We've known each other for quite a bit of time through business. Yeah. Through a friend, and in 2016,
through real estate.
Through real estate.
Okay.
In 2016, when I got that ball rolling and I was getting into wholesaling, we would collaborate on a couple deals, and that was 2018, I think, is when we did our first collaboration.
Awesome.
And we looked and we were like, this was easy. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
And we were tracking kind of on the same track. He was a weekends and night guy, going to work every day, but crushing wholesale deals. I was doing the same thing, and it was like we were on this parallel path.
What was the job you had?
So I was working for what I call the farm, State Farm, and I was just doing, cubicle, data entry.
Yeah.
And but I've always been on track to just get out. I knew I need to get out, so we
psychologically unemployable.
That's right.
I love that so much. Psychologically unemployable. I feel the exact same.
Sure. Right? And I worked on him for months. Yeah. I was like, dude, just quit.
So let's go into this, because a lot of the people listening, and if you want to watch this and you're listening to the podcast, please go to Brent Daniels Real Estate channel on YouTube so that you can put a face with a voice. But how did you do it? I mean, you had the 9 to 5.
Yep.
One, what's going on mentally? Is it, well, are you thinking at some point something's going to happen? Like, how does
After I got that first deal, I was like, okay, there's something here. But it must have taken me 25 plus deals before I realized that it would keep repeating.
Right.
Every day I'd wake up and be like, is this going to happen again? Am I going to find another motivated seller? Mm-hmm. And I would, and I would, and I would. So I think my first year part-time, I did 6 deals. The next year I did 12. The following year I did 24 deals while working full-time and raising a family. And at that point I was like, there's something here.
So wait a second, you went 3 years before you quit your job?
5 years.
You went 5 years?
I got to the point where I was making 4 or 5 times more than I was making at work every year on nights and weekends. And finally I was like, this is bonkers, right? I have to stop going to work.
Why didn't you quit the first year?
I was very scared to quit. I had like you said, the retirement program. I had the medical benefits, the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
And just, it was my self-limiting deal, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think this could really be a thing and turn it into a company. So
oh my God.
Eventually I got the cojones to do it. And as soon as I quit, I started calling this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's kind of like we have very similar why and vision. That's why we align so well. And I was all about, I need to stack so much cash, buy rentals. So and we're both on the same page. We still just stack our cash to buy the rentals. We want the passive income. So same thing. I created a goal. I was like, I'm not going to leave my job until I have 5 properties, because that was in the market that I was investing in. That would work for my monthly nut. So for us, it was kind of similar in that case, but I wasn't ready to pull. I was like, no, I got to make the 5. But then I realized how good we were working together, how big our company was growing. We were in the same vision, same why.
Yeah. And
then just made the decision, all right, I gotta fully commit to this. A lot of the reason too is to show that I was all in. I mean, we already had proof of concept. Like he said, we knew the deals were going to keep going, and I need to be able to work more than that 2, 3, 4 hours at night. And I was working 7 days a week to make it happen, but still I needed more hours.
Yeah. How important do you think it was to save up before you made the decision? Because I say you need to have 6 months saved up in your personal account for for all of your costs, all of your monthly costs, all of your expenses every single month, and then you can make that decision to go into this full time. But I see so many people, and you guys have seen it too, start it really, really soon, and the issue is the pressure. Oftentimes than not, gets too heavy than the timeline to be successful and get consistency.
Right.
And it's not that people aren't putting in a ton of effort. It's not that people aren't taking enough action. It's just the timeline to close these deals. Sometimes these deals take 45 days to close. Sometimes you talk to somebody and it's not till 90 days later that you actually get paid on these things. And that's that should be, for everybody out there listening, that should be the mentality is 90 days minimum from the time you talk to them to the time you close. Now, there are people that go in 1 week and 1 month and whatever else that start getting these things faster and quicker. But the timeline to actually getting the money in your account and not having to spend a ton every single month on all the different resources and tools and training and whatever else that people are investing in, it gets stressful. Right. So for everybody out there, listen to these guys. These guys built it on a rock solid economic foundation that said we're gonna stack up a ton of money 5 years.
And we put those rentals in place.
Right.
Yes. We each have rentals, so that getting that monthly income was a little bit of a buffer.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the straw that broke it all? What was the decision, and how did you handle going into your boss's office and saying, "This is it"?
I've pre-planned that for years, right?
Sure.
And then it wasn't as climatic as I thought.
Yeah,
but I was looking forward to that day. And for me, it was just a freedom thing.
Mm-hmm.
My job was pretty much the same thing day after day with the same people, same hours, and I wanted that freedom.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to pick my kids up from school. Wasn't able to do that before. Go where I want, do what I want, when I want.
Love it.
I was over it. Yeah.
So that was it.
That was
there
it.
wasn't a moment that you were like, okay, I'm walking in and I'm quitting today.
No, I think
Forever.
it just for whatever
You
reason.
just didn't show up?
Yeah, I just didn't show up. No. I went in. I gave my 2 weeks. Did the whole thing correctly, I guess you could say. But
did they know it was coming?
I think so, absolutely. And I think everyone there knew.
I can't imagine you weren't talking to everybody about what
everybody
you were doing.
knew it was coming.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, what a great day, right? What an awesome day. Pretty scary day, I guess, but it's worked out better than I could imagine.
Let me see. How old were you then?
Let's see. I'm 40 now. That was in 2018, so like 38, 37.
Okay, so you went elementary school, junior high,
Right.
high school, college?
College.
College.
Dropped out of college.
Okay,
Yep.
and then job.
Then job. Right into my job.
So structure,
Yep.
structure.
Boom.
Freedom at 38.
Yes. And I think 2 years into it, I still wake up going, am I supposed to be somewhere right now? What am I supposed to be doing?
Oh, yeah.
It's a real adjustment, right?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling like in the back of your head, like, wait, am I supposed to be somewhere?
Yep.
What am I supposed to be doing right now?
With that being said, though, I would say we easily, I don't know about Jeremy, but I feel like I work more now than I did going to work 8 hours a day. It's just different work, different set of stuff. But what a transition.
What a transition.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, mine was anticlimactic. It was just, I had dreamed about this for so long because I always wanted to leave my job. And so, I went into the job knowing I was going to get out because I had freedom before that. So I wrote the email, sent it off. My boss was really cool. I worked with a really great team. They're all aware of it. I was taking calls for like an hour or two, closing deals on...
Hopping into the bathroom to call me, hey, where are we at on this one?
Mm-hmm.
And taking my computer and going to different rooms that I could work. And it was like, all right, I'm ready. I got to do this.
Awesome.
Everyone knew. And so, I think it was about 2 weeks or a week or 2 weeks, and I was out.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Not looking back. So let's break down this deal because we had talked about it. You had talked to, I think you had reached out to me, either text or we talked or whatever about this deal on a lake, right?
Yes.
Apparently, we don't have deals on lakes here in Phoenix.
We've noticed
okay?
that.
So, but you guys do. So what happened with this? Let's go through the whole thing. I want to know what lead generation you used, what list was it? Like, let's go through. Break all the 4 pillars down. And if this is your first time listening, anytime that you are talking with a distressed property owner, you want to pre-qualify them based on 4 things. The condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation to sell that property, or what is their problem that they're currently going through, and what is the price. So those are the 4 things that we're looking at. So we'll break those down here. So how did you first come in contact with this seller?
It's a good story, actually. I think this deal first came to me 2 years ago, I think, through a postcard.
Okay.
And I tried to move it. I was unable to get the price that we currently had it at.
Okay.
So I had a little bit higher number.
Yep.
Talked to everybody in Seattle. Was not able to sell it. Lost the deal. Forgot about the deal. Then just one day told Jeremy about it. Like, hey, I had a shot at this waterfront property a year or so ago. He's like, let's see if it's still available. I went back through, dug up the guy's business card. I kind of passed it off because I'd probably worn out my time with this guy.
Yeah.
And I said, Jeremy, why don't you give him a shot?
Yeah.
So Jeremy reached out to him and got him back on the line. We got him at like $1 million, which I think was a couple $100,000 cheaper than the year previous.
He was at 1.3 to start. And
Okay.
down to $1,050,000.
So you send him a postcard, hey, we'll pay cash for your house, fair offer, here it comes, right?
Yep.
Classic postcard,
Yep.
he called. Okay, so why did he want to sell this property?
It's in horrible shape. It was a hoarder house, like with the pathway through lined with stuff that probably
floor to ceiling.
Floor to ceiling.
Probably had been there vacant for at least 20 years. So like a storage unit for this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Carport was completely filled with
So
stuff.
he didn't live there.
He did not live there.
This was just his little hidey hole.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But and I think other wholesalers had tried to move it in years prior as well.
Yeah, sure.
So a lot of people had seen it. He just really was stubborn on that number. And Jeremy was finally able to get him down where we needed to be. And
what did you say to him?
So the big thing, I mean, we do this on all our calls with sellers. We find out what's the obstacle. Like, why are you not selling? Why, what do you need at this point? And at that time, he wanted $50,000 released to him, something of that nature. So we did that. And then he wanted a long timeline. Mm-hmm. There was stuff that he believed was really important.
Of course.
Yes.
And by the way, real quick, listen, anytime you're running into a hoarder situation where they've got a lot of stuff in there, there's always secret treasures somewhere in the house that they try to prolong the timeline. Now remember, time kills all deals. So if you need to help them remove junk, hire somebody, get through it, help them, kind of put a storage box in front of there, that whole thing, do that. Because it helps it out. But it sounds like this guy wanted to kind of go through it himself.
Yeah, and we already had it sold, so I was all about just, okay, we need to get this locked up. Who cares about the timeline? We offered even to start, like, we'll help you move stuff out. Mm-hmm. We got to the point where we were like, hey, we'll start storage units so you can move your stuff.
Yes.
We'll hire movers.
Yep, everything. This guy, yeah.
And we ended up, before the deal closed, we did actually financially help him get some stuff out.
Yeah.
But we got it closed, and it was one of the most difficult properties.
So the condition, how big is this house? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's not too big. It's like a 3-1, and it's probably between 1,300 to 1,800 square feet.
So it's $1,000 a square foot is what he was asking for?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my!
For a lake house,
gosh.
a very small home on Lake Washington.
Everybody listening in like the lower price markets is like, what is going on in Washington? Yeah. I'm feeling that way. Anyway, so it's not a huge house. So once all the stuff's out, it's not a terribly expensive renovation to where it's like $500,000, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got this thing at $1 million. The condition is basically everything needs to be done?
Everything. I mean, most people were looking at it as like a tear down.
Right.
The end buyer ended up keeping the property in its condition and then just remodeled it.
Right.
Not fully blown out, but to give it some room for someone to go all out on it.
Right. So condition, totally rough, renovation, timeline, he was ready. Now, I mean, he's been ready for 2 years, right? I mean, he's just been holding out for his price. What made him decide now? Was it just this year? Was it this situation? Was it just something changed in his life? What made him accept that $1 million offer now?
I think the difference was we were there to help. Like, he had experience with Brendan, and I brought, I said, hey, I'm partnered with Brendan. You spoke with him a couple years ago. We're ready to move forward on this deal. And then we just pushed hard on our price, said, this is all we can pay. You've tried this multiple times. We solved some of his problems, and we gave him that timeline.
Yeah, we gave him like 3 months.
Yeah, it was a 9-day close.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And he stayed with it.
We had to ride him pretty hard.
Oh, we rode him pretty hard,
he was getting older and had some health issues.
Sure.
But, we just walked him through it.
Yeah.
And he ended up leaving about $10,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So
there was an additional cost, but
there was more clear out.
What can you do, right?
Yeah,
we got the property and got it closed.
Love it. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted 1.3. You got him down to $1 million. What did you sell it for?
We sold it for, I guess it'd be $1,075,000. Yeah.
$1,075,000. And you netted how much?
$75,000.
Come on, boys!
Ring the bell.
Ring the
Let
bell.
it go. Let it rip. That's always a good sound.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Just like that.
Yeah.
Just from, and it's really interesting because a lot of times we're finding when we're going back through our database of past leads for the last 6-7 years, we're finding just wonderful deals tucked in there that we didn't remember were there. So you guys were really smart going back to it, and then it's just reopening that conversation with being proactive and making a call.
Yeah, I think that's really important note for the listeners.
Yeah.
I would say 50% of our deals are people that have been on our CRM or our follow-up system for over 6 months.
Right.
It's very few deals come in and we actually get them right away and close them right away. It's a small number of deals for us anyway in our business. It seems like we talk to these people for 3 months, 6 months, even a year, all the time, and then finally get them online.
Incredible.
Yeah, we do rapid follow-up, and we're always staying in touch. We try to leave an impact so they can remember us, but we resurrect a lot of deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what lead generation do you do now that keeps you so successful in one of the toughest markets in the country?
I think this is a good time to bring up a great point of how your program helped us really transition.
Yeah.
I think both of us, when we were doing the one-man thing on the nights and weekends, we were reactive.
Sure.
We were sending mail, we were posting ads and waiting people to contact us. With the TTP program, became proactive.
Right.
So we started a call center. We've got 3 full-time callers, a full-time texter.
Awesome.
And now we're reacting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's nice. So,
So that was a game changer. I mean,
game changer.
Absolutely put gasoline on our fire.
For sure.
Yep.
And we're still seeing it. I mean, we love the program of having callers that we can get the list out to them, and then we can hit them twice texting. Mm-hmm. We still do a little bit of mail, but it's very, very specific on what type of property we're going.
Right. Same with us.
Yeah, shout out to Batch. We're using the texting system.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
Batchleads.io,
right.
guys. Listen, Batchleads.io. Use the coupon code TTP. You get to try it out for $1 or half off the first month or something like that. Check it out. Batchleads.io. It's really
we're getting
slick.
like a 20-something% response rate on texting right now, which is really great. So we're trying to shift even more to texting and just increase the calls.
Awesome.
I think we're getting like 10 to 15 good leads a day.
Awesome.
Which is killer. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So speak now to those beautiful, ambitious, talented, smart people out there that are listening and watching this that have never done a deal before.
Sure.
What advice would you give them to get started in this and just take that first step? The toughest part, I think, when we've got this passion is, what's the first thing I can do? Right. You know what I mean? Give them some advice here.
Imperfect action, right? And I think I got that from you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that term. And mindset.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the mindset, having the belief, right, that we can do. I mean, Jeremy and I wake up every day and believe that we can find deals.
Yep.
So I think before you take any action, just that belief that it can happen. I mean, we're example. I'm an everyday normal dude, terrible student, and it works. So I think that belief and the imperfect action.
Awesome.
You don't have to everything set up perfectly, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
Make some calls, talk to some people.
Progress, not perfection.
That's right.
As
I
Tom
love
Kroll
it,
says
right?
over and over.
Yep.
Yeah, and speed of implementation. Like, you got to be able to take what you're learning and then not be scared to just go right at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've always done. We learn something and we put it right into play.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. How do people reach out to you if they want to congratulate you, connect with you? They're in your market. Maybe they're getting deals from other markets, or they're in a different market sending in to you for referrals. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can reach us at Jeremy at Foursquare, and that's FOURSQRE.com. Or Jeremy McConnell is my handle for Instagram.
Got it. Give him the last name.
Okay,
Come on.
it's MACCONNELL.
Right.
Double C, double N, double L. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Awesome, guys. So happy that you guys are here. So happy that you guys are so successful. So happy that you guys are a shining example of what you can do if you're working a full time. You don't have to stay stuck in it. There are 2 lives.
There are
2 lives. One before wholesale and one after.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely true. So thanks for being on the show.
Man.
Thanks for being on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
Everybody out there listening and watching, if you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP program. It is the TTP family. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. That's wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Scroll down, check it out. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. We look forward to talking to you. And as always, I sign off by telling you and encouraging you to talk to people. Until next time, love you. See you.